The way I kind of think about Blaze is almost as like an Icelander, but instead of the disruption, you're trading that disruption for aggression. Blaze is a super strong contender in the Blitz format. Even if you don't have her, or no interest in playing her, knowing how she works, what she does, and how she does it, and what to look out for, is absolutely essential if you're going to survive Skirmish Season 9. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, my flesh and blood friends. Welcome back to Dice Commando, and go again, a fabulous cast for the continuation of our march towards Skirmish Season 9. Today we are talking Blaze. Now, this one we had to wait for the July ban and restricted to shoot, because there was absolutely zero chance, right, that Blaze wasn't going to see some sort of a ban. And now that we have it, here today is the Blaze deck tech. Blitz is an awesome format and integral to Flesh and Blood's long-term success. With Skirmish Season returning in late August, the competitive focus on Blitz has returned. Every Tuesday until the start of Skirmish Season 9, I'll be covering a different Blitz deck tech. Now, our Dice Commando channel members, of course, have early access to these videos as they are uploaded. The first wave is already available, with another wave pending after the July 3rd BNS announcement. And hey, if James White approves, you should too. So I'll see you here every Tuesday through August for more Blitz content. So that's right, my friends. Today we are talking Blaze Firemind. Now, Blaze is a hero who's obviously been on the fringe. If you play on Talishar, she's been all over the place on there, but may not have been at your locals yet because by and large, she's been about $100 to $120. Most people aren't going to those conventions she's been available at. But things are going to change in early August because that's when Gen Con happens. Very, very, very large tournament with the United States. There's going to be a lot of people going there just to get her and flip her and so on. And there's going to be a huge injection of Blaze into the market. All right. And then we go into Skirmish Season 9. We know she's going to be a prize for Skirmish Season 9. As of the time of me shooting this video, we don't know which prize. It's certainly implied she will be one of the cold foils on there. In fact, we know for a fact she will be one of the cold foil prizes. But either way, we're going to start seeing more and more and more and more and more Blaze as the summer goes on. But either way, the folks who are serious about Blitz and want to play her are going to grab one before Skirmish Season 9. So obviously with the BNR that happened just like hours ago of me shooting this, but it happened on July 8th, which is like a day and a half ago of me shooting this, or of this going live, either way. We did see that her ban came through of Aether Wildfire was banned. Now, we also saw the other card, the other Aether card, I forget which one it is right now, but either way, she wasn't playing this one for the most part. It was Aether Flare, sorry. She was not playing that really by and large. So the big hit was obviously Aether Wildfire. No secret there that that's a really good card. What she would do is she'd get to the 4-op, she'd throw out that. If it didn't get Oasis, if it got Oasis, she'd just basically tuck. And then if it didn't get Oasis, she'd pop the boots and then go, right? So it was very, 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 very awesome, very repeatable, very good kill shot. But without that, the reality is it's not as huge of an impact to her as one might think. I'm not saying that it's zero impact. It's certainly an impact. Wildfire is a really good card. But overall, Blaze plays differently, okay? And one of the coolest things, like I like Blaze. She's a really cool hero in terms of what she's trying to do. She brings some other really cool cards from Arcane Rising to the forefront. And in fact, I kind of wonder if Blaze wasn't like a very early design of Kano or something like that, because it seems that she fits in with all those Arc cards like right on the nose. So we look at cards like Cindering Foresight and Absorbent Aether. So Cindering Foresight has essentially seen no play prior to Blaze. So the next card you play this turn with an effect that deals arcane damage deals that much +1. And then opt 3, 2, 1 based on the red, yellow, and the blue. Then we have Absorbent Aether, another card that saw some play very, very, very early on, but by and large hasn't seen much in recent years. It's a defense reaction for 4, 3, 2 based on the red, yellow, blue. And the next card you play this turn with an effect that deals arcane instead deals that much arcane +2. So this, you can see the obvious play off there. First off, Cindering is just free opt for you, right? Red Cindering is an amazing card and gives you a buff and feeds itself. Absolutely self-replicating combo there. Absorbent Aether, you do have to have the counters on to take it off, but then it comes in for +2. And that's where we run into what I consider to be one of her best assets, is the Surge stuff that came out of Dynasty, by and large. Either Quickening, Mind Warp, Swell Tidings. There's a whole line of them. But Surge, remember, Surge is a keyword that essentially says it's similar to Crush, something like that. If you deal more than the baseline damage it comes in for, you get some trigger. Either Quickenings Go Again. Mind Warp is a card I've seen not a lot of people playing, which I'm playing in my list, which seems pretty good to me. And then you have Swell Tidings, which very, very, very rarely hits for what it does because the Ponder token is really good. But the idea here being that off of those two cards we just mentioned, right, Cindering and then Absorbent Aether, it makes those surges more likely to be surged, right? So that really fits in very well. Then what we do is, of course, we move into her kill combos of sorts. Emeritus Scolding is no secret to anyone in Blitz because that's the Emperor's basically main play there. Okay, deal 4 and then 6, right? Basically +2 because the blue deals 2 and then 4. So an additional 2 if you're not playing it on your turn, which Blaze is really well positioned to do. And then her main play, especially now that Aether Wildfire is gone, is Sonic Boom! Deal 3 Arcane to the top to target hero, and then you opt and you get to do a thing. And hey, oh, sorry, you don't opt, excuse me. You look at the top cards, but because you've opted, because generally you know what's on the top of your deck and you can set it up for that, you can Sonic Boom, and then you can do the thing from the top. All right, sorry about the misspeak there, but I think you all knew what I was driving at. So without further ado, let's go ahead over to my Blaze build, which I've built myself based on, I want to give a huge shout out to Oates. We've jammed a ton of, he's been on Blaze since the very beginning. He paid the crazy money to pick one up early. We've gotten games in, they're on the channel. He's gotten very good with this hero. And a lot of this is built on, this is not his list, but a lot of this is built on his learnings and then some stuff that I've seen coming out of playing against him. So these are my recommendations for the deck, okay? So we have Metacarpus Nodes. This one is phenomenal for your pop-off turns when you have extra resources floating. You don't have to use it, but if you have extra within your math, you just hit for more, and then generally you'll get not only one extra Arcane, but oftentimes in that Sonic Boom, you'll get extra cards or something like that. You have Spellfire Cloak, right? That's bread and butter, gives you the extra one. Storm Striders, Spellfire Cloak can often pay for the Storm Striders if you need it. Storm Striders is your kill shot. Then, of course, we're playing Talismanic Lens, which gives you the Opt 2, so the free 2 counters when you need it. And then the oh-so-fair Waning Moon for 2 on your turn and 3 on their turn. Okay, shouldn't have to explain most of that to the folks watching this. It's kind of wizard bread and butter for most of that stuff. Going into the deck, what you see on this breakdown, by the way, we have 17 reds, 17 blues, and then 6 yellows. Now, your 6 yellows are very, very, very usable cards, okay? The only yellow we're using, which is not a major card that we're trying to hit on, is Cindering Foresight, which again lets you opt 2 and then get to +1. So in many cases can pay for what you're, in terms of opt counters, not in terms of resources, can pay for what you're trying to do. So in terms of the D-Reacts, we have Absorbent Aether, red, blue. I did talk about the Surge cards, so we have Aether Quickening is one of those. So this one actually has Go Again if it does hit on your turn. So this one's a bit of a no care in terms of the Surge, right? So if you want to play Scalding Rain or something, that's probably not a huge loss. But because this game's Go Again if it hits for more, and a lot of times those buffs are coming on your opponent's turn, right? Again, from Cindering or Absorbent Aether. But there are edge cases in which, again, it's just strictly better, in my opinion, than something like a Scalding Rain, so I don't know why you wouldn't play it, right? But I want to be very clear, the Go Again's not going to pay off all that often. That actually does bring up something. I'm not playing Reverberate. I've tried Reverberate. I haven't been able to get it to work very consistently, and I found that there were better ways to be there. I've seen Reverberate in a lot of other folks' lists, and someone with more experience in Wizard, maybe that is something to look into if you so choose. Right, Aether Spindle, we're on red, blue. This one's awesome because anything it bleeds lets you opt, right? So anything it bleeds, you get you counters. A lot of times this one's going to obviously suck stuff out. It does cost 2 also, which doesn't work super great with Moon. But if you can get some sort of awesome shot in, because again, remember, you're playing on their turn. So if you get like an Absorbent Aether into a Spindle, that is just 3. And that can often come in for 6. And in some cases, give you serious counters, right? Give you serious counters. Right, Cindering Foresight, we kind of already talked about. Red, yellow there. Not playing the blue there because I wanted to, you'll see later when we get into the blues, I'm using a lot of the chippy chip stuff. So I did not play Cindering Foresight blue. It is an option for you. But remember, all it does is give you the 1 counter. It gives you a +1 and 1 counter. versus some of these that can just let you chip in. Emeritus Scolding Run, red, blue, we talked about that as well. Now, something I think that folks will disagree with is I'm only playing one copy of Forked Lightning, and that's because I went heavy into Mind Warp, which I think works really well. So Mind Warp is just a 0 for 2, right, which is perfectly on curve, but it has Surge. So if it deals more than 2, they shuffle their hand into their deck and draw that many -1. I've been punished by this card so many times by folks that I can't see not running it. I really respect this card, and I think it belongs in this deck because of her propensity to do the boosted damage, and the fact that it costs 0 really is a big deal. So I really like this card, and I think this is not secret tech because I'm literally telling you right now, or verbally telling you, not literally, I guess, but I'm telling you right now, I think this card's really good. Right? We are playing 2 copies of Kindle. This card is dirty AF. I don't think that's a secret out there in the wizard world. I am playing 2 copies of Scar for a Scar. Remember, Blaze starts at 17. A little bit of wizards, or not wizard, a little bit of Emperor Spice in there. That's where I'm coming from on that. We have Sonic Boom. We spoke about Sonic Boom. Now that Wildfire's gone, I really believe Sonic to Boom to be your main thing. I mean, Emeritus obviously is just always functional good. Being able to do, you know, something into like a Cindering or a D-React into Sonic Boom, and then, you know, do boots and everything you need to do to just suck it out again on their turn. It's really good. It's really good, especially if you've opted and you know what's coming, and it's really good. It's really good, right? Like a Cindering into Sonic Boom, so you've opted. Really good, right? In terms of kind of the blue chippy chips, like I was talking about, so we have Aether Arc. So this is just a 0/1, but it's a ponder for each one dealt. So this is a 1 that they often will pitch to, which is kind of cheeky, right? In terms of trading card for card, it's actually not bad, right? And this one's not an amp, right? So if you just throw it and they don't block it, you get to create a ponder, which is pretty cool. So this one seems like it belongs in the deck to me. Foreboding Bolt, I'm playing blue here because it backfills itself. Now this one does cost 1. So I think a lot of time you're playing this on your turn. So you're like doing 1 into Moon, and then they've got to deal the basically pitch a blue or take some chippy chip damage. But it's an opt on that, and again, it backfills itself. If you do run into a situation where you have to use it with like Cindering or something like that, again, you could Cindering into that, come in for 2, backfill the one that because you would take 1 counter off, so you'd essentially backfill itself, and then you get a Moon chip shot in there. That's not too bad. Gaze the Ages, I've seen some like really cool edge case stuff of this, but functionally this is just an opt 2, right? Because most of the time Blaze is going to be playing on her turn, or your turn, excuse me. An easy way, kind of the way I think about Blaze, actually, I didn't really, you know, schedule or script this or anything, probably should have, but the way I kind of think about Blaze is almost as like an Icelander, but instead of the disruption, you're trading that disruption for aggression. That's kind of, I think, a good description of Blaze versus Icelander, and the -1 health, of course. Right, next is Prognosticate. Deal 1 and then Surge if it deals more than 1 opt, right? But this one's a 0, so it fits very much into what I was talking about with Foreboding Bolt. We then have Scour. I only have 1 copy of Scour. This one is interesting because you have to have targets to pay into it, right? So otherwise this becomes a blue, but it does block 3. And then Whisper of the Oracle, this one's just a pretty bread and butter opt. Now into the sideboard, I'm running Fate for Scenes. Fate for Scene is not main board with the 2 D-Reacts we have in Absorb Red and Blue. And then we get into, you'll see there's no Oasis here, but we have 1 copy of Aetherize, right? Negate instant card. That's cheeky, okay? Rewind, negate non-attack. In this meta right now, this is absolutely backbreaking for like a Blood Rush Bellow. They do that, they have to discard, you negate it. They don't get their draw because they still have to pay the cost. Really good, really good. And then Snag to stop the Go-Talls. So that's the deck. I'm really scared of Blaze. I think she's super, super, super strong in the format. Something you absolutely have to have respect for going in. I mean, that's with every wizard in Blitz, to be fair, include the Emperor included, right? But Blaze is really good. So anyway, have fun with it. Iterate on it. Make it your own way. Yeah, you have to be able to think through the thought lines and the combo lines to make it work. So do it your way, but use this as a starting point, or if you're trying to figure out, test into this one. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, feedback. Thanks for watching, folks. Go Commando.